Hey, welcome everybody. Let me adjust this camera. Probably should do that before I start hitting the record button, but here we go. Okay, so again, Knife Fairy came, brought me another package. Gonna open this up. This is a cheapo. It's a, you can see that, Schrade knife. I think that's how you say that. Schrade. This is this SCHF56LM. I don't know, that's a horrible number. It's just the large frontier, 9.5 inch steel. Supposedly it's 1095, 4.5 inch drop point, blah, blah, blah. So, let's open this up and have a look at, yes, I got a lot of knives. I like knives. Now there's a knife for everything. Try not to cut myself here. This thing is such a good knife. I love this knife. By far my favorite. Alright. Again with the weird package. Let's see what we got here. Pardon the dirty workbench. I've been working on my feather sticking. I guess it's going alright. We're learning a lot. But here we go. Simple box. That is a single piece of tape on each side. Alright, here we go. What do we got down here? Okay, so I decided to get a cheapo knife because I spend a lot on knives and knife things and tools and whatnot. And so here we go. Yeah, this is the Schrade knife. Same hard sheath as the buck knife, a little bit bigger belt loop, which I appreciate because this one was just ridiculously small. So yeah, that was a thing. And anyway, let's have a look at this. Stretchy cord on this one to hold in the ferrorod, which just slides in there like that. Of course, just a coated ferrorod with a bit of shock cord. I'll have to check that out. And what do we got here? Caution for user and bystander, blah blah blah. Debris can result in eye injury. Okay, I'm not sure. Probably because of California, they gotta put that on there. But anyway, that's stuck in there pretty good. This is a heavy knife with a rough handle. Whew, son, that is rough. Let's see if we get a. I mean, you can see that. That is some rough handleage there. This is supposed to be micarta. The whole knife is coated. Kinda sharp. Now a lot of the reviews were complaining that it was gonna be, the edge had a burr on it. I'm not feeling that anywhere. The burr, there's no burr here. It's got the number on it there, the SCHF56LM large thing. I don't know. It's coated in it feels like Teflon almost. I don't know how well that handle is gonna agree with me. I might smooth that up. I might smooth that handle up. Cause it's but that is a thick blade. That's like darn near 1/4 inch. Let's have a look at how thick is that blade? 1095 steel. It's a carbon steel. That's good. I might scrape all this outer coating off. And I'll tell you why. If I ever decide to use this thing to strike like a flint and steel on, that coating is going to stop that. But that's a very slick anti-rust coating. Very low friction on it. I'm not sure what kind of grind that is. It is almost identical to the grind on this buck knife here, where it starts out a little steep here and runs more shallow with a micro bevel on it. Or just, this is a small bevel. There's a little, people call it a micro bevel, but a micro bevel can be obtained with a strop. So that's not necessarily a micro bevel. That's just a secondary bevel. I'm not sure a tip bevel, a grind. it's supposed to have a 90-degree spine, but compared to other knives that do have a 90-degree spine, that's not very sharp. Let's get the coating off of there first of all. Oh, that is really difficult to get a spark off of there. I don't know. Which is a heavy knife. I like that. I like heft to my knives. It makes chopping a lot easier when you gotta chop. It's so much more pleasant to chop with a heavy knife. Speaking of which, I'm using these pieces of wood to make a handle for something. Yeah, that's a... Oh, that's a good... I like that. That's pretty good right there. Yeah, this is rough on the hands. Oh, that's rough on the hands. So I'm gonna put a better edge on this. Now it's sharp enough that I think I can just hit it with a strop. So, like I said, time will tell. I can still make out the grind on here. Maybe we can get in close enough to see it. Yeah, you can still see the grind lines in it. So maybe I'll need to hit it with 1,000 or 2,000 grit sandpaper, but let's do the test and see if I did something. Yeah, I did a thing, and it's decently sharp. It does not hurt to shave with. So let's try the feather sticking. Let's try some feather sticks. Something I've been practicing. Now that's not so bad. I'm not gonna slip. I feel like it's got some purchase. If I smack it into something, I don't feel like I'll slide down and lay my hand out and open it all over. It's actually not too bad. That is not too bad at all. Hold on one second. Let's compare this. Everyone's favorite, the Moras. Let's pick the one I didn't like the spine on. Oh, I have such high hopes for this. I wish they would just make a heavy-duty companion with a 90-degree spine and not charge a lot for it. It takes a while to get used to a Scandi grind. At least for me it does, because it gets in there. It's making thicker curls. It's a little harder control because it's so light. This guy isn't as sharp. You can hear the difference. I can feel the difference. It does a good enough job, though. It does a good enough job, and I would be much, sentence starting and not finishing, much more confident doing batoning with this than this. This guy right here, I feel like I would break. It's not a full tang. I'd be surprised if it comes past here. Not that that matters a great deal. If you hold it and strike it right, there should not be any point at which this knife is going to break here. If you're doing some stupid, what a lot of people call it batoning, it's not batoning, it's just cutting across the grain like this, where they hit that really hard and try to go through a piece of wood. That's just stupid, okay? If you're go at an angle, always go at an angle, and get up on there so that the pivot point is near your hand, so you're not blasting your hand up like that. Anyway, rant time over. Okay, so the Schrade, though, I have to say, so far I really like it. Things that may need work, the handle. I might soften it up just a bit, because right now it feels honestly like shark skin. It has a grip to it though, and over time that's probably going to wear out. my Micarta handles don't fit perfectly, but unlike this buck knife when I got it, it doesn't hurt my hands. There's no sharp edges grabbing me. I would not be concerned about smacking something with the pommel, because this is a wedge. This is a thick piece of metal. I mean, look at that. That's, compared to this knife, it's easily twice as thick. So yeah, I mean, here's the Robust, which is a thicker knife, and it's still a third thicker than the Robust. This was a $30 knife, and I think that's a very good price point so far. It comes with a sheath, it comes with the fire still, though the spine needs some work. In fact, I think I'm going to break out the Dremel and do that right now. Okay, I skipped the Dremel and I want to talk about something here. I clamped it this way. Excuse me, I skipped the Dremel and I clamped it. I put it in a clamp and used a file. A file can tell you a lot about how something is hardened. This portion from about here back is, goodness, focus, let's focus, come on, here we go. Okay, so this portion from about up here back is not hardened. I can feel it with the file. Up here at the tip, it was a lot harder to grind, and it produced, I don't know if you can make that out. You can see right there, up. Holy cow, I gotta focus this. Okay. There, you can see it. See where my middle finger is here? That is where the hardening started. So what likely happened is this whole blank, before they put the handles on, of course, they took it and put it into a vat of oil like that, into it like this. Say this, my hand is the oil. They put it in like that, and this portion of the blade was not tempered. Or hardened, rather. Tempered is a different thing. But you can definitely see here a difference in the steel coloring from right there forward. So the tip of the blade's hardened, the edge is hardened and tempered. This back portion feels a lot more mild. That's not a problem. What could be a problem is a similar issue that I faced with my Mora, where the striking of the fire still has damaged the spine. I hope that isn't the case with this. It's not a deal breaker. For $30, this little knife right here, I didn't like for $30 because of how light it is, how little material there is. The handle's not comfortable because of these windows. Anyways, I listed it all in my video up here. I'll link it in the description. But this one, better handle. It's more comfortable, even though it's rough. The blade is just, I like this. This is not a bragging point, but it should be. This is a thick blade. This is a real good thick blade. So with just a little work with a file, if I can scrape off that goo. This is a very hard ferrorod too. It's not a lot easier to scrape though. Probably because I didn't do a good enough job on the 40. Nah, it's pretty sharp. It's pretty sharp. This is just a hard rod. Jury's out. We'll see. Where's my other rod? My bigger rod. Where are you at, buddy? Don't worry, I'll find her, boys. Moves everything. Goodness, why do I... Let's try it with this rod. If it gets a good purchase, it's alright, it's alright. And that coating is going to help stuff from staining it. So, the only way to do it is to keep testing it, split some wood, beat it up a bit, and see how we like it. It is rough on the hands though, so... $30. Schrade is known to be like a really cheap brand, so that's why I decided to review it, because a lot of these cheaper knives get overlooked. But honestly, if you're looking for a knife that you don't have to modify, you don't have to do something with, a $30 knife is a very wrong price point to be looking at. You should be looking at a $150, $200 knife. to go look at a bark river or an Essie or something, but even then, you have to be pretty... Yeah, that'll do. That will do. Let's try it out here. Smell it. There we go. So it works, and it works pretty good. That anyway, that's my unboxing. I'm gonna keep playing with this and get you an actual real review. But so far, that's my initial impressions on this knife. Come on, dude, friggin' pirate. The handle's rough. The spine needs a little work. I don't know about this coating. If you like a razor sharp knife, you're gonna have to hit it with a strop 40 or 50 times. But so far, so good. And it's a wedge, man. It's a heavy, thick-bladed knife. I'm not afraid to abuse this knife. To beat it up. This one, yes. And these are the same price. This is such a light knife. And it's stainless. And I'm not a big fan of stainless. I always like a good carbon steel because they serve a lot more purposes than just cutting. Carbon steel is generally harder. It keeps an edge better. Hit it with a piece of flint or a very hard rock like quartz. You can get a spark and make a fire that way. Yeah. Dude, this is a wedge. I like this a lot. Alright, let's finish up the review on this Schrade knife. Had it out here in the field a couple times. It's not too bad. It's very good at splitting wood. The coating that it comes off, this black coating, completely useless. And for striking a ferro rod, completely useless. Which is funny because it comes with one. And speaking of which, this thing is a marvelous just failure. The other half of it is in my pocket. This is not useful in the slightest. I mean, I think I got one fire started or two fire started with that thing before it snapped, and that's not even, that was after I put a spine on this knife. So that's extremely not only disappointing but confusing. Why on earth would it come with a ferro rod and not be able to strike it? And then on top of that, why would the silly little, why would Schrade include a fire steel if it can't strike it? And if it's gonna break, what's the point? It's just extra weight, another thing to lose. And yeah, it's absolutely garbage. So I don't know what to say about that. That was, I don't know, kind of disappointing. But as far as everything else goes, the sheath is nice. It's a nice hard plastic Kydex, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what material it's made out of. ABS, high impact plastic. Because sometimes some guys say if you cut it, you can hear. So it's a fiber, I think it's a fiberglass reinforced plastic, because you can definitely hear the fibers cutting. I don't know. So that's that. It's decent. As far as the knife goes, I put an edge on it. I do that with most knives I buy. Pulled it back slightly, gave it about I think this is I don't know, 20-degree angle, 22-degree angle, something like that. That's not so important. This is 1095 steel. The handle I sanded down to the spine I did it at a 1000 grit. The knife spine I just did with a file, and it's still, if you're gonna get a knife for striking a ferro rod, you're scraping it against a piece of steel, so you need a hardened spine, and a lot of manufacturers do not harden their spine. I'm not certain why, but you can actually see it if you sand down enough for the blade. You can see that there's a line in the steel about right here that goes from an inch back like that, and it's not hardened back here. So you scrape that ferro rod enough times, it takes that 90-degree right off. And in this case, didn't come with one, so I put one on there and it still kind of took it off. So I like that 90-degree. Everyone who goes outdoors and uses the ferro rod needs and likes a 90-degree spine. Come on, Schrade, that's why isn't it included? This coating is interesting, but unnecessary, I think. It makes it all match, but who cares? The function of the knife is primary to its looks. So anyway, fits well within the sheath. I like the big belt loop, that's pretty cool, but other than that, spend your money on something else. It's a neat knife. If you like a really thick blade, it's a really good splitter, but you're gonna have to spend about a good hour modifying it. The ferro rod's gonna be garbage, and anyway, the spine does not feel like it's hardened because it deflects, it dents. You see it right here, I don't know if you can. From striking a ferro rod, it's bent the spine there, it's pushed it back, so don't know what to say about that. I don't like it. There's nowhere else on this blade. There's no choil to strike with like on my buck knife. There's nothing else on here to strike with. The tip doesn't strike, the back doesn't, the spine doesn't strike, so of course the handle's not going to strike, and there's nothing else to strike with, so you just get a ferro rod that you essentially cannot use. And then when you can use it, it's going to break, and it's going to deflect, and it's going to bend up your spine, so I don't know what to say. I might take it out a time or two. It's pretty hefty. It is a wedge of steel, so keep that in mind, and that's all I got to say about that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye.